What's good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to talk about what's going on with the market and break down some very important levels. I'm also going to talk very briefly about some things that Jerome Powell just said that lead to an increase in volatility in the markets. Before breaking things down about all this information, though, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends in just 2 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, so SPY is currently down about 0.1% as of right now, trying to get a nice bounce off this 200 EMA on the 30-minute time frame. But the question is, what happened today? Why did the market kind of like sell off in the morning, get this very nice pump, and get another rug pull as the time went on? Well, just as a reminder, we had Jerome Powell speaking, as I reminded you guys in the morning, and Powell was giving a speech at the ECB, or the big meeting hosted by CNBC with many of the other economists and central bankers out there. Powell said some very important things that the market didn't really like, and this led to some selling pressure that came out here and there. So at the ECB, basically Powell came out and he said that, and I quote, he does not see us getting back to 2% inflation in 2023 or 2024. And he's saying that it's going to take a lot longer than what a lot of people are expecting. And he mentioned that inflation's dropping. It's not coming down as swiftly as what the Fed was expecting, and it's taking time for service sector inflation to move lower. The bottom line is, and this is what Powell said, the bottom line is that policy hasn't been restrictive enough for long enough to see those effects. Now, some people out there are questioning what this actually means. They're saying like they don't understand his claim that policy has not been restrictive for very long. And others are saying different things. But the truth is, he does have a point when making that claim, because you have to remember the economy was in a phase of quantitative easing for quite a while. We saw very, very low interest rates in this environment for many, many years, for a very, very long time, right? Since the 2008 financial crisis, it remained at a very low state. It went up as we approached that 2016 period, came right back down and remained down for many, many years. Now, they just barely started raising rates, last year. It's been not that long overall. And the reason why Powell is putting stress upon this is because the real effects of the rate hikes, as studies conducted by many economists like Milton Friedman have found, they don't really have effects on the economy initially. It takes a while. It may take over 18 months. Some may say it could take longer, right? So it's going to take a while before we really see the rate hikes take effect. They are starting to show signs of affecting the economy as we're seeing unemployment going up, but it's going to take a while, and it's very important to note this. But anyways, how is the market performing? How is the market responding? That's what's very important. Honestly, guys, I'm not going to try to predict exactly how this is going to go, but I'm going to talk about some important levels just for simplicity. I want to note that the stocks that are doing a lot better right now are like Tesla and Aapl. I was talking a lot about Tesla. I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well, because Tesla has deliveries coming out very soon, and it got lots of bullish news, at least for today, and Tesla is outperforming quite nicely. But first off, about SPY, all right, this thing is trying to hold above the 200 EMA once again on the 30-minute time frame, very, very close to that. That's where our pretty nice support is. You can see we had a lot of wicks right there as we touched those levels. As it broke above this resistance around this 435 area, it pushed to the chop zone right here. You guys could see this like very, very resistance level between this 436.64 and 436.25 area. So the 436s are very tough. You can see we got this false breakout right here. This was actually like a liquidity grab before we start to see the market reverse. And you can see it right over here, this long wick. You can also see this on like the 5-minute. It looks a lot better on the 5-minute. But for now, the market got this pump up to about 437.5, very close to that. It was approaching the 438 resistance, came very close, came just short after Powell said some more hawkish things. Then the market started selling off. It's also because of other bankers out there, because of the fear that has been cited by them. The market is fearful that inflation may take a while to actually come down, and Powell was very hawkish. He said it's very possible, and now becoming more likely, the Fed may have to raise rates many times again. He implied that what we just saw was a skip, and because he said that, that caused the market to sell off even more. Powell was also talking about how the rate hikes coming, they're going to be pivotal moving forward, because the Fed is not done and there's still a lot of work that has to be done for more restrictive policy. So Powell said all these different things, and you can see right here at SPY, it's starting to sell off just a little bit more, but we're just going to watch this very carefully. So for your support, okay, I went over the resistance levels just briefly. For support, you're going to be watching We have some support at this 50 EMA just exactly at 435. And below that, our support's very close to 434.71, but it could go a little bit lower before bouncing right back up. You could see how the wicks touched this 50. I'm sorry, the 200 EMA. They just touch it briefly and then just come right back up. So watch that as support. If it does break below this, the next important level is going to be very close to about 433, the entire 433 area, right below 434. And if 433 breaks, there's more downside to come. It's going to likely get closer to about 430. We have to be very careful about all of this. Now, before I talk about Tesla and just a couple of tickers, let me remind you one more thing. So you guys could see how Powell affected the market today with all his speeches, all the hawkish things he said. He tended to be more hawkish today again. But here's the thing. Later on, he's going to be giving another speech today or tomorrow, depending on where you are in the world. For the Pacific time, it's going to be at about 11:30 p.m. If you're on the East Coast or New York time, it's going to be 2:30 a.m. Eastern time for Thursday. Powell is giving another speech. It's going to affect how the market opens. So if you're holding options, be careful because this could cause more volatility. It could cause the market to either gap up or gap down. So be very careful. Powell's giving another speech. It's going to affect the market for Thursday. But that's just my warning, non-financial advice. Anyways, we're just going to watch these levels on SPY, watch it all very carefully. Tesla, once again, has relative strength, looking quite nice. You can see where Tesla rejected almost exactly at the 260 resistance up here. This tends to be more significant than these resistance zones up here or below here as well. Tesla came down a little bit in the morning, right here testing the 50 EMA, then it just started popping quite nicely. You can see Tesla just continued to pop up. It was holding above the 50 quite nicely. Now we saw Tesla reject off the 260 area, came down, pushed up again, and now it's just kind of trading sideways, but it's trying to hold above this 254.25 area, and it's trying to hold around the 255s. So it's looking quite nice so far. So if it breaks down below support at the 254.25 area, it's going to come all the way down to 252.86. That's where our 200 EMA is. You're going to watch that carefully. And then the 252 range, the entire range right over there is going to be support. If that breaks, watch 250. That's where our 50 EMA is. And if that breaks, it's going to come all the way down to 247.5. Now, I don't think Tesla's going to drop that low unless something bad comes out. But so far, the news for Tesla has been very bullish, involving Volvo and involving the expectations for deliveries by Deutsche Bank, which I will talk about a little bit later. But then when it comes to the overall expectations, if Tesla keeps pumping, you're going to be watching resistance very close to it's very close to 258 to about 257.75, very close to that range right there. There's some resistance right here where this trend line is. You can see the wicks went up and then back down. If it breaks above that, you're going to be watching this thing retest 260. That's where our stronger resistance is. If Tesla breaks 260, it has potential to push up to 262.5 plus, potentially the mid 260s. Now, I believe Tesla's going to pump a lot more as we approach Friday. I think there's more room to go. I'm not too sure about tomorrow, how we're going to open, because it depends on Jerome Powell, and also the GDP numbers and initial jobless claims. But for Friday, I think Tesla's going to pump nicely and it has more upside potential. Anyways, for a couple of tickers, NIO is also up after the bullish deal that was closed. AMD is kind of flat right now. There was some bearish news involving China and more restrictions, but for now, it's trying to be sandwiched between the 15 to 200. Watch resistance at 111. Watch support around 108. It's kind of stuck so far. The QQQ is looking quite nice, though. It is green. Very similar to SPY. It's trying to hold above the 50 and the 200 EMAs on the 30-minute time frames. And by the way, I have extended hours on when I look at this because I typically like to look at as much data as possible. And look at where the QQ rejected. It rejected off. It had resistance at 366 and it rejected off 366.5, very close to the zone we talked about, right? If it broke above this zone right here. And then look at the support right here. It's almost exactly 364.69, the level we mentioned yesterday, almost exactly. So these levels are working quite nicely. If it breaks down lower, watch the 363 range. Breaks below that, then watch 362.64, which is where our 200 EMA is. If it breaks below that, 361.37, then potentially 360 will come. 360 is going to be very strong support for this, as lots of bulls will defend. If it pushes up, watch 364.69-ish, maybe very close to that level as resistance. If it breaks above that, watch 366 to 366.5, and if it breaks down, watch 368 and 370. So watch these levels carefully. Nasdaq is still a little bit green. We're still seeing some tech stocks holding up like Tesla and also others. Coinbase was looking very good today. We got a very nice break above our resistance. It came close to the next major resistance zone. So we broke below the 72 area, came very close to 75, it came just short. Then it came right back down. Now it's trying to hold above 70. So looking quite nice on Coinbase. Still has some relative strength. Aapl was looking very beautiful today. Nice pump up, almost hit that 190. That was our next level if it broke above 188.5. Came very close. Then it came right back down. And look at where this thing bounced at 188.5. We're very close to that area, the level I was watching. Very, very close to where the next support was. And this is where Apple's trying to hold up. So watch the 5 EMA right now at this 189 area. That's what's also trying to hold support. There's some support there. There's 188.5, the zone right there. 187.79 as support, which is the 50 EMA, and a couple of other levels. If it pushes up, watch resistance at 190, and we could be seeing Apple fight for a new high later on if it pumps more. Nvidia came down off the Chinese news about more restrictions. It is sandwiched between the 50 and the 200. If it breaks below the 50 at this 410 area, it's going to sink a lot more. It could come down to 405 and potentially 401 again. If it pushes up, watch resistance at 416.59, 30 minutes 200 EMA. You're going to be watching that carefully. You can see this is what's stopping the video as well. It's just, once again, sandwiched, going back and forth. If it breaks 416, we have the potential to push up to the 420s. If we get a very clean break, not just like a temporary break like this and a break right back down, we have to wait and see on that. Google ended up doing something surprising. It got a nice bounce. It came down to this 117 area again, then bounced right above our 50, which is a bullish signal. And now it's still trying to reject off the 200. Once again, it's sandwiched right now, but it's looking a little bit stronger. So that's some good news that came out. And besides that, I mean, Meta is kind of stuck as well. It came down below the 50 after getting rejected once again at the major resistance, very close to 290. Came very close, got rejected off 289.55, very, very close. You can see this trend reversal signal that came from this candle, and it came right back down. Support right now is going to be 283.11 at the 200 EMA. If that breaks, watch 282, 280, and then much other levels other than that. But I'm not saying it's tanking that hard. I think it's going to fight resistance at 285.52 and then other levels there. There's also resistance at 287.5, and after that comes 290, or very close to 290. All right, so I went over the majority of the stocks out there. Please watch these levels carefully. And remember, okay, don't forget, today or tomorrow morning, wherever you are in the world, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking again. He has another speech coming up. All right, this guy moves the market. Look at how he moved it today. He's going to likely do it again. Be careful, be mindful of this, and do what you have to do. Take the risks accordingly based off your own preferences. I'll see you guys very soon. Nothing I said is financial advice. Market to the moon, and peace out.